everyone, and welcome to Saturday E1.
Big Saturday.
Oh my word. 2023, here we go. Do you want to just kick straight off into the monstering battle?
Yeah, by the way, as soon as we stopped recording about Friday, loads of memories came back to me on my Friday night. I want to pass on a big thank you to Billy,
right?
Who was one of the league bodyguards.
Right.
He was like a homing missile, and if anyone's ever had like a threat to their lives,
right,
in the dark, everybody looks like they're going to kill you, but mainly because they're like stumbling around drunk, they might like suddenly dart towards you, and like he was there, like bodyguarding the shit out of it. So yeah, thanks for that. Like, yeah. Anyway.
Actually, I also remembered there's a bunch of times where I bumped into Caddock, who'd obviously joined the striding and sort of played, and there was just fun game with John. I just wanted to highlight that where because he's definitely not a spy. I can't, there's nothing to tell, therefore, because he's definitely not a spy.
Not up to anything.
So, but it was, it's fun, like having that element.
Let's talk about the battle.
Yeah.
So, we were playing the Druge.
Yeah. So,
love playing the Druge.
So good. It was really nice to get that as a thing, and the way that would sort of pan out. And you were taking the field as well, right? Like, and you took the field both events, and you felt fine physically.
It's also
you
like,
you're back, baby.
Especially monstering, like you can kind of the stakes are a lot less.
You can choose your tempo a bit more.
If I'm going to be like, oh man, I'm fucked, I can just die really easily. It's not hard. Druge got split up into our little units.
Mine in this case was extremely little. We got put into a unit of 10. Because we got like just divided up, and just the way it worked out when they kind of blobbed us together was just literally the 10 of us, led by a wonderful skirmish captain called Anna. I can't remember what her IC name was when we were playing with her, but it was actually really nice. We just had this real small group. It was most people were kind of new or recovering from an injury, or it wasn't like, we're not talking the crack elite necessarily, but everyone was game.
Yeah.
And there was a good kind of, there was good cohesion, I would say, and a good kind of like give it a go vibe in the group. And we kind of, Anna kind of led us through these kind of nice, kind of fun drills. We talked a lot of stuff, especially with the new players, going over sort of things. I got made the second in command of the group, so that was kind of fun having. I mean, obviously with 10 people, it's not any big shakes, but it was kind of fun.
That's fun.
Came up with this idea that we're going to call the Bottlers, and that was 10 Druge bottles. And every time one of us died, the lyrics would change.
Bottles standing in the woods.
Literally, that's how it was, right? And we had these kind of calls like for bottle it. Have a swig, all kinds of weird things, right? And the idea was that we would basically we were such a small unit that we would just be like a harassing force.
I was in a unit with Big Daddy D.
Oh my,
Darius,
amazing.
Yeah, but what's funny is you might not look at him to know this, but Darius has a massive head. Like, it's a big head.
Yeah.
And they gave him a mask, and his face was like crushed into it. And then he was like, can I get a new mask? And they're like, because of COVID rules, we can't swap the mask out once you put it on. But what we'll do some adjustments and make it more comfortable. It was fucking hilarious.
Right.
His nose was so squished, and he could barely see with his eye. He looked like the most uncomfortable person, and he was like this kind of like deformed younger brother, and it was just so funny. No one is as dedicated to monstering as Big Daddy D Darius, because he was in
legend.
So much agony. With his face just smeared over the inside of that
having your nose pressed is the worst, because it's like, I've had this before where you have like, it's like, imagine, like, put a finger on like, not the end of your nose, like the middle of your nose, and just press.
It was more
and then
than
just
that.
Do that continuously.
Underneath, he must have looked like a punched out boxer with his nose like pressed up against the side of his face.
Oh, it's just like, it's so uncomfortable.
So fucking funny. We I can't remember our name now. I can't remember it. We did have
it wasn't as good as the bottlers.
No, I can't remember what it is now. I'm sorry.
You didn't have a song.
I need to work on my notes like way more. You'll get the highlights, but the little fun anecdotes are going to be way less. We hit them straight when they came out the gate, right?
Yeah, I heard there was, and I heard there was a bunch that just whacked them when they came out the gate.
Were you not part of that?
No, so we were way back in the woods, basically, to make sure they didn't have anybody come through the woods and basically get around the side and just basically harass forces there. Because you guys hit them pretty hard at the beginning, coming out the gate, it took them a while to get into the woods and move any forces through, so we kind of essentially had a pretty chill start to the battle. And I think there was I mean, we'll get to it, but I think that was part of the problem where the Druge forces were sort of quite broken up, and a lot of our forces were actually held back, and essentially we had large groups falling back into smaller groups, and the way things evolved.
That was the best we had of it.
Yeah,
was
at the very opening,
at the very opening of the fight.
Yeah,
we were with Wintermark.
Yeah.
And another nation. Who was the other nation that we were with?
League.
Yeah. And of course it was. Yeah. And everyone else was on the other team. We did a whole bunch of charging, harassing, trying to flanking them. Gave them a really hard time. At the start of the battle, I was like thinking, "Wow, this is going to be tough for the Imperials. Like we're kicking hell out of them."
Yeah.
But then they got their act together.
Yeah.
And just started moving forward. And
yeah, I felt like we were quite light on numbers, and I'm not sure if that was just like, I think we were actually lighter on numbers, but I think also like the distribution of the forces meant that when they brought the Empire to bear on any particular zone, we had nowhere near enough to handle it.
With the Jews that I was with, I know Wintermark were there, but I saw very little in the way of shields and other kind of like more holding weapons. Most people that I was with were ambi or something like that, and we were wearing relatively light armor. Obviously, our chests were covered because we had the polyplate, but lots of exposed legs, a lot of exposed arms, and then we just started getting mullet and had to kind of, and then it became withdraw, withdraw until...
So, yeah, basically you guys got pushed, as I'm assuming this was you, got pushed all the way around on the non-wooded area, all the way around the wing. But at this stage, they started going through the forest as well. And originally what we were going to do was hit this force that was pushing you on the left flank as you were getting pushed back. But that very quickly turned into essentially... They were moving through the forest so fast that it was a case of this entire group of Druge are going to get cut off on the windscreen wiper if we don't hit the fucking hinge.
When I got round when you're heading back up the field, and so I've got the woods to my left, heading round on that corner, heading towards the midgate.
Yeah.
Literally, we'd had to kind of hustle to get out of there because the Imperial forces were moving so fast on us. I turned that corner and was like, oh, bloody hell, like, okay, we're going to try and make a stand here. And then immediately Imperial forces were coming out the woods.
Yeah.
Like...
So, it got to the point where... I mean, I'm not even kidding, it was like the 10 bottlers and a few stragglers were literally all that was left, and we went from... switched from doing this swooping motion to go and hit this flank to being like, we just have to just thin out maximum and just hold everything we can for as long as we can getting through the woods. And when I'm saying everything we can for as long as we can, we're talking 10 people, like, essentially, like, holding for maybe 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe. And we just, we got battered. Like, but we held it just long enough where the majority of the wing managed to come round behind me, and then we immediately collapsed.
Yeah, that was where I was. And we were heading around that corner, and I saw the Imperial forces coming up, and we were like, we got to go through the gate. Like, we've just got to... This is over. Like, forces were kind of milling around and moving through the gate. And, like, the way the battle's going, like, literally, we have to get out. So, like, we left through there, and then it became, like, a big old route for everyone to try and get through the gate and get out. Then the Imperial forces came up to the gate and were held there for quite a long time, weren't they?
Well, so basically only 4 bottlers made it out of that hold. Like, immediately, it went
just
bottlers. Right? We got smashed,
mate. Through the
like, actually, though, genuinely, that was the best part of the battle, because it actually, like, it genuinely felt like the 10 bottlers, bless the 6 of them that perished, the 6 broken bottles will not be forgotten. For that hold was like, I felt like if we'd lost that at that point, it would have been catastrophic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's
there's
like,
very real world mechanics there as well. Like, you don't want to have 1,000 people trying to fit their way through our gate, right?
Yeah. We basically ran back. We were like in the essentially the last group to then get pushed back. Well, kind of probably like semi-last group to get pushed back through the gate. At that point, we were gassed, dude. Like when you're hitting like when it's like super intense, even if it's like for a real short period, it's like, but it was like absolute arms, legs, everything. All the directions, you get absolutely battered. It was like I was knackered when I got through the gate, and everyone was like, the 4 of us that made it out were absolutely spent.
Meanwhile, I'm just laughing at Darius with his crushed face, looking at the crush on the other side. We held them there for 20 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, it was a long hold at the gate. The gate is like a weird one.
I don't like the gate.
Well, also,
I think there should always be 2 gates open.
Yeah.
Top gate and the middle gate. Because then it divides forces out. It stops it being 20, 30 people on either side having a horrible time.
Well, also, now with the new rules, with archery, one of the things you can't do is fire over the fence. You can't fire over like the barbed wire either side of it because there's brambles there, and you can't fire through underbrush anymore. That's part of the new rules.
Right.
So there's no archery really coming in on either side either, which would normally thin up little areas. So essentially, if you're an archer, I wasn't playing as an archer at this point, but like, obviously friends of mine who do, and other people, essentially you're just out. There's literally nothing you can do. Yeah. You can't interact with that whole scene at all for 20 odd minutes, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like you could swap in and be on the front line or whatever. Like, there's literally nothing you can do.
I'd like to see like 2 gates open. I think that would. I understand like having choke points is part of the battle and can work really well, but having 2 points, it means it's a bit more dynamic, and it means that like you have to divide forces. It means you can mass forces to go through one area.
One thing I will say is, we got battered so hard that we kind of needed the choke point just for everybody who was on the other side of it just to regroup, because we got fucked so hard.
As soon as they broke through the gate, it was a masterclass in maneuver warfare from the Imperials. Like,
bear in mind, you had Dawn and the Marchers who work really well together. Just push. You got like fast moving Big Clank. You got Bills. All that kind of stuff moving. They're really good. They're really good.
I think we had Imperial Orcs, didn't we, as well?
I can't remember.
I think so. But the literally, do you remember like a few seasons ago? Was it last season when we had the? We were the Druge and fighting them in the woods, and there was a big pile of dead Dawn in that fight because they kept pushing as a salient and then would snip off the salient. The Imperials this time round were so well ordered. It was a battle of maneuver, and they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, it was great.
We just kept on. I was over on the right flank, and we withdrew through the fort. We tried to hold at the fort, and our left flank was already failing, so we had to pull back even more. Then it was literally like that was the entire battle. Was literally maneuver, stand, pull back, maneuver, stand, pull back, and it was just like the Imperials did I cannot stress this enough how well ordered they were, and how good they were at basically like. Stopping the Druids from doing anything that they wanted to do and completely dictating terms and just wrecking every fight they came into contact with.
I think like the only thing that at that point was really offering them any challenge was things like the tortured souls that were mixed into the group and stuff like that. But really all of the general Drugery was just getting flattened. Also the rain had obviously come down and the ground in certain places was pretty boggy.
Very boggy.
I remember the area where we had to fight. Like, and you don't get to pick your battles all the time, right? Like, it's not how it works. So occasionally it's like the 4 bottlers who are left at this stage were like, we're just going to go out, right? We're going to go out. We're going to break ourselves. We're going to break bottles on what is left. And actually at this stage, I think we were literally down to like 2 bottles. So we just charged in, but it was hilarious because like we go in and like they took like 2 steps back because they'd moved forward into the mud, right, the muddy section, and they'd be like, they do that thing where they kind of like, oh, that's not very pleasant. They stepped back, and that's immediately where we stepped into. Right? Was this? It's the kind of like just slightly cold, slightly damp bog. And we stepped in it and we're like, oh, that's not very nice. And then we just got shanked.
Lie down in the
I had nowhere to go apart from this fucking boggy puddle. It was so fun. But I got executed in a really fun way. It was nice. I really do enjoy like being executed as a monster. You can kind of play it up.
I got pushed all the way back to the back of the field. And people were going, hold! And it was like, there's nowhere else to go! And like literally, I managed to be part of a group that kind of like squirted out the edge to try and come round to the side. Immediately followed, we did a bit of taunting. We managed to get one guy down, and then the Imperials realised that we had an Imperial citizen, and we were like being dicks about it, so they came along and waffle stomped us.
Yeah. Amazing.
And then literally I went along, went to a spawn point, sat there, and there was like an idea that we were going to respawn and harass them on the way out.
Yeah.
But by the time that we actually got like the order, I was sitting there like, if this is going to happen, it needs to happen right now.
Yeah.
And then by the time that we got respawned,
yeah,
the Imperials were already heading out of the gate.
So I think, I think I was in the group just before that, and basically there was a few people where they were sort of starting to get numbers on who would get respawned and stuff. Mm-hmm. It didn't look likely even then, to be honest with you, because the battle was going so bad, and I was like, I was kind of at the stage where I was just like, I think we're just gonna, it's over, and there's not going to be a respawn. So they kind of asked, who does and doesn't want to respawn. I was like, I'll drop out and give other people who are a bit more game a go. Also, I was like, now's a really good time to nip back to Moorish and God and see if I can find my wallet, right, when everything's quiet and not literally during a battle, so not after a battle where everybody's doing all the stuff. So I went off and did that. And I got my wallet back from God, which was instantly a relief.
Did you know who handed it back?
Moorish just handed it back. So literally what I'd done is I had paid and then just slapped my wallet down and left it there on the counter. Jesus. Like an idiot.
How you survive is incredible.
So yeah, so the rest of did your battle just basically you didn't respawn and that was it, yeah.
That was it.
It was actually like, as I say, the Imperials just were phenomenal.
I had fun. I actually think it's like this is definitely not a. This is just a great victory for Imperial forces.
Yeah.
They handled themselves incredibly well. Yeah. They 100% deserved the W. I don't know what the objectives were, but man,
cool.
The army got smashed.
Yeah.
And then we got back, and I had my Senate election.
Yeah, you have a little bit of time to chill out, right? Get yourself kind of out your armor and stuff.
Drink a lot of water.
Yeah, we
have
kind
some
of
food. Kind of get ready.
But yeah, I mean, you've got to get game face on,
have
right?
a beer.
I thought there was a really nice attitude to the whole way. We'll obviously get into it when we get into how the senatorship ran, but I thought there was a really nice attitude to how it was all ran. I thought this is one of the best I think I've seen. Like the two candidates were fantastic. The questions were really good. The answers were solid.
So the way it works is, in Navarre, this isn't the same for every nation. If you're from a region, then you can vote for your senator. So this works in a whole bunch of different wacky ways, and depending on the nation. But we have a pretty democratic system. Yeah. Where it worked is everyone comes there. There weren't actually that many people when we started. The numbers got bigger as we went, but like not as many people as you would expect to be from Hakinia. Basically, I stood up there. There was one other candidate called Hazel who was excellent, by the way, like really, really good.
Plays Demesma, who ran the fashion show with me in one of the previous events. It just
very capable player.
Yeah.
And basically we get asked questions, and literally it was just like anyone can ask a question. We take it in turns answering.
Yeah, and they switch who answers first as well, so that's kind of nice. It's very well done, actually.
Yeah.
It feels very fair. It feels very democratic. The floor's open for people to ask questions, but there's a limit. There's like a time limit on the questioning as well.
Yep. It shouldn't be a back and forth. It should be a question and a response, and then you move on.
Yep.
Just answer the questions. I think both of us did a really good job in actually answering and putting our positions forward, which were fairly similar, to be honest. Yeah. I don't think there was much in it, really. I think it was very close.
Yeah. I mean, the actual results, were
I think
close.
It was basically, we turn away, everyone goes and stands behind us so we can't have a look.
Yeah. What's that feel like, by the way? Is that, because also, can you explain, I guess, your feelings during the whole process?
I was super chill.
Yeah, you seemed very chill.
Because it was I love to be senator.
Yeah.
Was it seems like the next logical progression for my character, for me as a player. I want to do a good job. But at the same time, it's also hey, if I don't get it, then I can keep doing Operation Phoenix. I can do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So while it would be good, I went into it with a very chilled attitude. Very relaxed.
Yeah, I mean, because previously when you've gone for a job at Empire, you've always seemed very stressed in comparison to
getting knocked back really was annoying. I used to get grumpy about it.
Is that just because of the position things have changed, or do you think you've grown?
No, it's my attitude. 100% my attitude. And being relaxed really helps, when you're answering questions and you're just I'm really comfortable in talking about what we're talking about. I'm comfortable with talking in front of a large group. I kind of know my shit now. There's very few questions that, there's nothing that I got blindsided by.
Yeah. You have done your miles, right? And a bunch of stuff. And it's that's not saying that you can't go for these kind of things as someone new. It's just obviously a lot more challenging to have. There's a lot more running around to have to do. You've done that running over seasons, right?
Yeah, and I was my selling point as a senator was I've been playing. I say playing the game, I mean literally, not literally playing the game, but the game of politics and trying to get stuff done.
You're in and around those people, right?
Yeah, and I understand how the levers of power kind of work. I won. I won 37-20-ish. Which
it was a really good vote, actually. Good, healthy blocks for both, and I think it was very respective of just the quality of the candidates and the spirit of it, especially. I don't think
there was a wrong answer.
Yeah,
I think both of us, either one of us, would have made.
And I think that's what was so nice about it, the whole spirit of it, and at the end, right? After it kind of breaks up and everyone's there to obviously congratulate, commiserate, but it didn't really feel like congratulate, commiserate. It just felt it felt very relaxed in a very friendly way.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it was it's kind of the way you would like to see other such positions resolve for players who are obviously invested, right?
It was nice. Demelza was I'm coming for you next year. And I was hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good candidate. Hopefully I should start. I didn't see her much this summit because I was so busy running around, but I need to get her a lot more involved. I think it's the right thing to do is to get the person who came runner-up in it to be involved in what you're doing, so they're that much more ready for next year, and also they're a really valuable asset, so I need to do that.
Well, and say, if Gellert dies, right, something happens, or whatever happens, right, it gives, somebody's ready, right?
Yeah, so I win, I'm lots of endorphins, feels really nice, especially when lots of people faces that come up and congratulating you, and
it's a big position as well. Let's not undersell it. Being senator is a big position.
Yeah, Navarre had 3 senators. They're all very good.
Yeah. You're stepping into some huge boots.
And Riz is the previous senator was fucking great.
Yes,
he's really good at what he does. He's politically savvy. Yeah. He's incredibly charming. Yeah. He's very, very nice. Huge boots to fill.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, like I kind of know what a sensor does, but like I haven't been a sensor.
You've got to do it, right?
I've got to
There's
do
a
it.
huge other aspect. Like it's like you can watch the person do the job. You can kind of ask them questions about the job, but actually doing the job, there's nothing quite like it.
So Leafy and Maddie, his proxy, were like, we were chatting, and I was just like, hey, why don't we go to my camp and we can sit down, I can have a drink, and we can actually chill out.
Yeah.
As I'm walking back, as I just get to the market, I feel a hand go around me and a knife touches my throat, and I hear in my ear, blood games. And
so good.
Jono had successfully been the first Blood Games recipient. I don't know. I'll be curious to see whether he would have made it out of Navarre in One Piece.
Yeah.
But sometimes being an assassin doesn't mean you're coming back on the other side. Yeah. So bravo, sir.
Yeah.
Well done. And it was the only time my defenses
that's certainly the best,
were...
right?
It's the only time my defenses were dropped at all. Like, Keys is like a shadow.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it was the only time he wasn't there. He was back at the circle. Like, it was the perfect time to do it, and he nailed it.
Yeah, I think, like... if you actually... Because he must have been there stalking you to a certain extent. It wasn't like a toilet shanking or something like that. This is like a legitimate...
I should mention this now.
Yeah.
He did shank me outside the toilet later. He did.
Which doesn't count.
It was like, what time is time out? Is it 1 or 2? It's 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was just before 1. It was like 5 to 1.
Fuck that.
I was shit-faced.
Yeah.
I go to the toilet, and he shanks me either on the way in or on the way out, and I was like laughing because it's just like that.
That's more of a jokey one, right?
The dirtiest way to do someone is to a toilet.
But the other one is totally legit. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
That's great. Like,
yeah.
Like whatever would have happened to him, he at least would have got a hit off on you, right? If that's like a venom blade or something.
A venom blade.
Yeah.
Get a quick executing. Legit, right? Legit. Cool. Fimble election.
So my whole, like, obviously after that, I'm on a pretty fun political high, right? Like, it's like, you've got the position. I genuinely, as I say, I really enjoyed watching it all pan out. It was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. Like seeing it, because I have not actually really watched that many or been like involved in that many kind of election things. So seeing it all pan out, I was like, yeah, that's really cool. So got in touch. I hadn't put my vote in yet, and obviously, like the votes for the Thimble are fast approaching to do all the totting up. I am the worst.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Gwendolyn, let's go and do some. I've got to go down and vote. Do you want to come down with me? And we'll like, and she obviously hadn't put her vote in yet. I don't know if she gets to vote. I can't remember how it works. If the candidate themselves can vote. Anyway, we head down. I put my votes in. It was just nice. We just had a nice chill walk down. I'd never really voted on too many things before. It's basically just walking up to the hub and putting your name in a book. But it was nice. It was really like a cool atmosphere to sort of be in the queue of people waiting to do that. Talking to people. Just catching the vibes. I kind of like how how the hub has all that kind of the nettery, just full of like all of the different posters and things that are going on. You can see people milling around and having a look. There's kind of people asking little questions. You pick up little things. You'll hear little voices and gossip and stuff. I'm all about that. Like it was fun. Like and I'd heard like about you. Obviously, just other people saying, "Oh yeah, no, Gellert Ashbourne just got the thing." It was just one of those moments where it's like a really nice little
weird to
buzz.
think about, by the way.
Yeah. Like there's people. And from there was people from obviously Navarre who were telling other people from other nations, oh, the new senator for Hickman is just being elected.
Oh God,
stuff like that. Right?
Responsibility just washed over me. Fucking hell.
You know what I mean? Though it's cool. Jesus. I know, dude. You got
a fucking senator.
David absolutely fucking. You got some huge boots to fill.
So much responsibility, and people are going to be angry at me and want things from me all the time.
You only get one fucking motion, dude. Like your Operation Phoenix stuff. If you try and push that with your one motion, you're going to be so fucked.
Well, it's complicated.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be very complicated for the people who don't like you.
No.
So that was it was really nice vibes. I was in a really cool mood all the way. Like, me and Gwendolyn have been sort of hanging around a fair bit during the whole event. Obviously, I've been helping her politics, do flyer, having a chat with people. It was nice, and then after that, just headed back. And I at this stage I was like with Orion, who plays Quill. I was just like, I want to get dedicated to Pride. Let's go and do this. So we just had a little jaunt up to God and did like we had a whole ritual back at the camp, obviously, but then we went up to God to do it officially. It was just really nice. But the other thing we got to do, so that, like, it's all, I'd never been hallowed, or sorry, no, been dedicated, obviously, and I've never had anything hallowed before. I've never had a ribbon, really, that I've organised putting on something. So I was dedicated to Pride, and I wanted to have my bow hallowed to one of the... Because there's different kind of types of Pride hallowing that you can have. Okay. I think the one I had was Leviticus, which is basically like... you have like pride in everyone around you and you want to fill them with pride, right? Like, so it's like you want to be inspirational to people, right?
Oh, I think you do that.
So it was like it was the best sort of sounding one, but I didn't know that this was a thing, but like you get to name it, like the thing that is being hallowed, you get to name it. So I was like, I get to name it. I can, like, my bow, which I'm going to hallow, will have, like, a name. Like, it's like a magic item or something. Which, by the way, I'm sure loads of people are like, oh my god, this is chump shit. But, like, for me, this was, like, really cool. Fucking cool. And I was like, Iona Splitroot has this song that she does for the Navarchers called Fly Free, Fly True, which she sings every time before we go into battle, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to call the bow Fly Free, Fly True, right? And have it hallowed to Pride. It's like the ultimate. It's just so good, right?
Fucking
I love it.
Bow nerds, man.
It was so fun, and I had no idea as well that firstly I got to name it. I was so excited. The person at God who was sort of sitting there, and as he was revealing all this information to me, was like, "So, what's it called?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I get to name it." It was amazing. And then it was like, "I'll just go and print that off for you." And they print it for you right there, right? And you get the little ribbon. I was like, "What? I get it now?" Like he was like, "Yeah, you get it now." I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, I thought I wouldn't get it till like next season.
So did you tie it on and stuff?
Dude, I tied it on that bad boy straight away. I was like, "This is the most exciting thing." I was so excited, like having a little, obviously typed it all in. He got double checked it all with me. I'm like literally like shaking because I'm so excited.
Does it give you the little description of
what it does? All that thing. It's really nice.
And it gets this little ID number as well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is because it's. The text and the explanation and the name is about as long as the ribbon. So if you're going to tie it on, you end up kind of tying it onto itself, so you can't read it.
Sometimes that's helpful, depending on the hallow.
Right. Okay. With mine, I basically arranged it so you could read the name of the thing because I figured that's the most important thing. I want to be able to show off what it's called. That was really fun.
What's the fawn cup?
The fawn cup was so fun. So, just as I come back, having hallowed my bow, which was all kinds of fun.
Yeah.
I see. There's this dueling contest going on in Navarre, right? There's a little sort of...
It doesn't sound very Navarre-y.
Well, it's like a kind of cordoned off area, and they
like where glory happens.
I think that it had a different kind of vibe actually, where it was like there was like kind of rounds to it, and it was like an actual tournament, like a knockout tournament. And
it sounds very Dornish to me.
It does a little bit, but the way it was done was you had like somebody who was like I guess someone who must do HEMA or whatever as a job, and had someone with like a timer, and there's basically the match is like 2 or 5 minutes or something, I can't remember, and it's like whoever gets the most points in that time, and every time you get a point or there's a clash, and it's like a double, so I hit you at the same time you hit me, neither of us score, timer's paused. Right, and then we start again, and it's just who scores the most points when the timer ends, or it might be first to 5, or whoever gets the most. And it's like it had this really cool tension to it, right? Where it's like, say if you're 2 ahead, right? Do you just act defensively for 30 seconds? And 30 seconds sounds like a long time, but like I could easily sort of get 2 touches in 30 seconds, right? Again, I agree with you. It has Dornish implications.
Very Dornish.
It was really fun, though, to see all these different the different competitors. Obviously, some of whom I know. One being Ash Silverfletch, who is Iona's real world partner, and
he's a lovely fella.
Really lovely guy, by the way.
It was his first event, wasn't it?
No, he's been going for. They've both been going for a while.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. And he basically they ended up winning the whole thing,
Nice.
It was so good. And I kind of came in halfway through, and I was just like, and I really all I wanted to do was like show the bow off, right? But I was like, this is amazing. We get to watch this whole kind of thing. The celebration's incredible. Like, I think that, I don't know what the reward was, but it was like they got paid obviously a certain amount of money. I think everybody put money in, and he got the winnings essentially. Nice. And then I was like, afterwards, I was like, look what I did. I got this bow hallowed, and it was so nice just to sort of be like, this song that you've made is now like a hallowed item on a bow and things. This is going to be fairly spicy, I think, going into next season because of repercussions.
Spoilers!
But that was really fun. After that, again, I'm sort of bouncing off all these highs. Saturday is very much a high.
Spoilers?
Yep. I head off to the Looking Glass with Orion to go and sell some maps and to pick up my copy of the Looking Glass because I know there's going to be an article on the Navari fashion show that we had. So it's like, I've got to get myself a copy. So head down. That was so much fun. Orion had this little rug. We laid out all these maps. I queued up at the Looking Glass. I bought myself a copy.
There's always a queue.
Oh, it's so lovely, dude. And talking to them, they were so excited for me to read it and look at it. I have these illustrations of us all. I was quoted in it. It was a double-page spread. It was really lovely. Like, it was so fun. And they were so kind. And then the best part was, Demelza turns up, like, literally, because I was sort of sitting there, like, alongside Orion, and we were just talking about his maps, and I was helping sort of sell some. We sold a few, gave a few away. It was fun. It was just like, I think he gave one away to a kid. It was lovely. It was just...
Ryan needs to stop giving away his stock.
I know, but like we were talking about it, and it was like actually like it was just really nice vibes, right? We're both kind of, I think we have similar spirits on how we treat the crafting and how we treat the crafting and selling game, or what we kind of enjoy, and how we think about money and resources in the game is quite similar. It was just a lovely moment. But then I was like, oh, it's a shame Demelza's not here because I really wanted to see this. And there she is in the queue, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so exciting. So after she got her copy, I was like, you've got to come down and sit with us. And we just had this really nice chat because we talked about the election. And obviously, because we've done the fashion show together, we kind of jammed on all of that. But we also just talked about the election. Because, like, I never really got to thank her properly, like, in person. I'd sort of done it because you know how events are. They kind of run away a bit. I never got to thank her, like, in person, IC, as Talis that much for, like, involving him in the fashion show and, like, congratulating her on everything that we'd done, right, and essentially all the game that she brought. But you're trying to do all this in an icy way. It was a lovely moment just to sit there and spend literally a good like half hour just like talking to her and just letting her know. Like it was really nice just to like just have some time just to genuinely let other players. Same with Quill with Orion. It was just like have these two awesome people who are like involved in the game I play, and just letting them know that they provide awesome fun times, right? It's just like
you appreciate them, right?
Yeah, it's like you don't actually weirdly, because you can be very busy at LARP, right? And sometimes you don't get necessarily the time to sort of check in with people and just be like, by the way, like our interactions are fucking awesome and I love it. It was so good. It was lovely.
Meanwhile, I'm off to Senate for the first time.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So how does this... Paint me the scene. God. How does it feel? What's it like?
I felt like the new kid.
Oh, you are the new kid?
Yeah.
Even though you'd actually weirdly been in the building before?
Yeah. You get there. There's security on the door. It's very exclusive because it's like you have to kind of be you have to be a senator or have a couple of other hats. So it's kind of like one of those things that kind of... You're entering this weird VIP area.
Yeah. You've got people, literally, they're Senate Guard, right? Essentially, right?
Senate Guard, who I'm friends with anyway, like I know those guys. I did manage to bring a knife with me onto the Senate floor, which was very nice.
Very good. You've got to be ready, right?
Got to be always be packing.
Yeah.
You've got, because there isn't a throne, like there isn't someone sitting in the seat, there's no monarch or whatever they would call it. But the viewing gallery is fucking packed.
Really?
Like, so you got these like people like just literally hanging over right behind you.
I saw this, and what was cool is you had like these kind of people who were there listening, taking notes, then running out, passing notes off to people, and those being run off to people, like actual runners, and like people literally looking through little cracks in the fucking
And this
wall.
is when like it dawned on me after I won the election. I had a horrible moment of realization of what I'd done, and then when I'm there, I'm like, oh my god, I'm totally out of my fucking league. Like, I'm about to vote on things.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, the Empire is just broke as a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, like literally, the first thing that happened was like the Imperial Mint was like, by the way, the Empire's broke, and next season is going to be like, so the way income works I'm going to talk about it because okay, so we have tax income, which is usually quite stable unless places are being invaded or whatever, sure. And then you have ball seat income. Okay,
right.
These are the mechanisms that fund the Empire. Now, next summit is going to be a low income because the ball seats for sale aren't big earners. Right. So we're going into like a starvation summit. So we had to keep some money back, and we had like a certain amount. I think we had like 700 thrones or something, and they were like,
which sounds like a lot, but it's actually not.
No, not a lot when it starts getting spent.
Bear in mind, there are some players walking around who easily have 100
the
thrones.
Private income is
it's a very
obscene. Yeah. But like, so we had. And this was like an absolute monster. There were like 14 things on the thing, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And we had to assign money. And basically what happens is someone does you have to basically put your motion forward a couple of hours in advance before Senate. Then you have to get someone to second that, put it on the board. Then the Master of Ceremonies, who is fucking amazing, by the way. He's so fucking cool. There's a guy who literally just tries to keep order and try and keep everyone...
Are they a player or are they...
I don't think so. I think they're part of the crew.
Yeah.
He's excellent.
Yeah.
Like, he's very brisk. I remember thinking when I'd been in there for my Yarm election... Was it Yarm? I remember feeling quite like, oh god, this is quite hardcore and intense. But having spent a bit of time in Senate, it kind of makes sense. Brevity is really important.
Yes.
You have to keep this, because there's so much going on that literally you have to keep this thing going. So you're allowed... so the senator stands up, they ask you the second, you raise your hand, then they give a readout what the Senate motion is. There is questions from the audience. So this is very much like PM question time or whatever, where there are literally people go like, I read something out, and then you're like, this is why this is bad, and then you might have someone in the crowd who asks you questions who are slam dunk questions.
Yeah,
you have done an amazing job doing this, and therefore this, blah 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 blah.
But these are questions, that come from the senators.
Yeah,
so we're not talking it's not the peanut gallery, right?
No, it's everything's inside the Senate.
Yeah.
And I basically sat there, listened to it, and I learned like a lot in the very short time I spent in. Well, it was quite a long time, just a couple of hours. But if you're trying to get something put through Senate, coming up there and not having any of the resources to do it. So, say for example, you want to build something.
Yeah.
Having basically saying we've already got the money, you just need to say yes.
Yeah.
Is a slam dunk.
Right.
Like the senators are going to sign off on that all day long. If you go up there and you're like, well, I'll need this much money just to get it going, but we won't be able to start building yet. It's like, no. Yeah. Like that's much more harder to do.
Yeah.
So I did Senate motions. You walk to the left or to the right when you're fucking voting.
Yeah.
I did my best. I think I voted the way I think was right, in my opinion. I don't know.
Because obviously you've got the other senators there. You can ask them for opinions and stuff and use them as resources. Yeah. Because you obviously know, and I suppose not just from our own nation, from other nations.
So, obviously
how do you normally operate? I assume you talk to Leafy and Trevor and stuff, no?
There's not much talking on the Senate floor.
Right.
In fact, if you do talk on the Senate floor, you can be silenced.
Right, interesting.
So it's like you're the naughty kid and you don't get to speak anymore at Senate until the Senate's over.
Interesting.
So shutting the fuck up and kind of do. But you can see where other people are voting. But like at first, I was like watching other people and seeing where they were voting on things. But I started to develop my own sense of what I thought was good or bad after quite a short amount of time.
You have to, right?
And I started voting on what I thought were good arguments, bad arguments, how things were received. And And yeah, we smashed through so many different things and spent a colossal amount of money. Like, just loads of it. And it was like, we were told, like, we have to save a certain amount of money. So much money was spent.
Right.
Like, I think to re-equip one army was like 300 or 500 thrones.
Fucking hell.
And it was but it needed doing.
Yeah.
Because the army needs to be armying, right? So you go and refit it. After that, we had... Oh, top tip. Fucking hell. I had a beer before I went. I needed to pee so badly for such a long period of time in Senate. Oh my God. It was awful. I was like, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Can you? I assume you can leave and come back, right?
Well, but there's motions going on. So I didn't want to be the guy that's like, the new kid that's like, oh, I gotta go pee. So I just kind of like, you know, kind of held on to it.
Right?
And then we were going to do the throne vote. So we had a quick pee break, and then all the people that are candidates to be on the throne come out,
right? And
they each have a bit of a spiel about why they should be on the throne. I won't see who. I think it's unfair if I say who I voted for.
Yeah. I think
but this is a person that I've had interactions with before through Ambassador and a bunch of other stuff. So I liked them and I voted for them. But what was interesting was, so you need a 2/3 majority to elect someone to the throne.
Right.
Nowhere near.
Yeah.
And then they counted the votes. Not enough votes. If you want to move, you can now move.
Interesting.
And some senators move to none of the above. And every time someone moves, we have to do another count. So if I move from one place to another, then everyone has to vote again. If I'm the only person that does it, still have to do another vote.
Right.
And this keeps going until the senators sit where they are. Or stand where they are. And bear in mind, like, this is outside the Senate building, and there are, like, people... a huge ring of people surrounding this and watching.
Right.
And it was like, man, it was very public and very interesting. I thought it was very interesting. Ooh, probably can't talk about it because it's active game. But
yeah, I think you're going to have to be quite careful.
I have to be really cagey with it. But I found it interesting how people move from candidates to none of the above.
Yeah.
And how there was no real consensus in the Senate for who should be the throne.
It's very... The whole throne game... is something where it's weird being like from the totally the other end, right? Just being a private citizen, just like with no real interaction with any of the mechanisms, just hearing different people's opinions, and then getting a grasp on what the results and stuff, and how things are perceived, and who the broader populace seem to be after.
I liked it.
Yeah,
you had different groups cheering their candidates on. It was a lot more involved. I thought it was really interesting. I really liked it because it felt like it's a really big deal.
Yeah. And
it was like, in the Senate, I'm a senator, and therefore I do what the fuck I want, right? Like, you can give me shit afterwards, but while I'm in Senate, that's the way. But when we're out there, I still get to do what I want. But it's like I felt a lot more active from the crowd. It was kind of fun.
Did you put a motion in, by the way, or
so? Riz had put his motion in, so I couldn't do a motion, but I still had a second in my pocket.
Okay.
So
you can do two motions.
No, you get a motion is when I say. The senator for Hakinia to do it. I need a second to support my motion, and you get one of each. So I have my second in my pocket, basically. Yeah. I'll get to what I did with that.
Nice, interesting.
And then I went to pee because Jesus,
dude. Again, polar extremes on experiences. I just went for a nice eat with Orion and Morish. We just had a really nice... I had my wallet back, so it was like lovely just to sit down. The two of us just had a good chat. Like an OC chat as well, just catching up on things. And we were starting obviously the evening's ticking along at this stage. We've got the music set that we're going to do later. And at this stage we decided that... this was really nice of Orion, actually. He was just like, why don't you sing with me? Right? And
classic
we'll
Orion.
Go and I am not a good singer or anything like that, but it's like...
But you can perform.
Yeah, it was nice to be like...
So I used to live in New Zealand, and we had karaoke on a Wednesday night in my local, like, it's a town of 4,000 people. We used to go down there, and I used to smash out Minnie the Moocher. I can't sing, but people loved it when I sang Minnie the Moocher.
Yeah.
And it's all performance. So I think it's like one of those things, it's a good lesson to learn that, yeah, there are some stuff that you can't do with a terrible voice, but you actually have quite a nice voice. But
it's fun, and it was fun doing it, like, we kind of, because we had a good chat, and we were thinking, like, what... Because obviously we kind of got a vibe for what it was going to be as well, right? This is, bear in mind, a fancy VIP party where they're getting fed food. Like, food is being literally delivered to them. I'm giving out bubble favours and stuff like that. And it's an experience, right? So we're not necessarily going there to be like a fucking rock band, right? We're going there to be ambient kind of music off on the side.
Good evening, Starbar.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but it's not the Starbar, right? The whole thing is, it's like actually this VIP subset, which is literally in a different tent, like in a whole different section from the main group of people.
Yeah.
So like we were like, let's. And it was just a cool moment because we're like, okay, we'll take a bit of time, we'll eat, we'll chill out, we'll talk about the thing, and then we'll go back later and work on the set that we're going to do. Because he's got all these different songbooks, different songs he can do. And we like, obviously he's quite nervous too, right? Because like, you know, this is... Orion's used to obviously playing music, but like, it's kind of a different kind of thing to do. And he really wants to do it right. Like, he's been hired to do it, right? And we're like, okay, we'll go out and we'll sort of draft together a proper set. I'll go for it now. It actually happened a bit later, but it was like, we kind of go through what he does and we're just like, let's just do the things, like, what are you most confident at? Like, what are the things you have no worries about doing? And then let's put them in an order. And then let's just X off the ones that sort of don't fit the sort of the theme that we're going for. So we did like a Navari set, and then like a Varushkan kind of set, and then like a more generally kind of themed kind of Imperial set. And we had like some acoustic numbers in the middle, like just like interspersed. It was
whatever
nice.
They paid you was a fucking bargain. Because I can imagine you guys doing so well at that.
Well, we'll get there when we get there, but it was very fun. So before we went off and did that, I was like, because we had a bit of time to kill. Obviously, you're doing all your Senate stuff at this point. I'm like, I really need to stop round and see Uncle Nietzsche at the Jackdaws and thank him for saving my darling boy Ithan. So I popped round to the league, and I turn up. Uncle Nietzsche is quite a busy guy. He's offered very many meetings like you. Obviously being kind of... He's a merchant prince, right? He's a busy lad. So I kind of turn up there. They're doing cheese and nibbles there. So I'm like, well, I'll partake in cheese and nibbles. And general kind of flamboyance. So
we need to
there.
Get an egregore on your ass. But yeah, go on.
And they had... they literally just come out of a theatre performance or something like that, like an hour before or something. Mm-hmm. And I think there is a Leaguish theatre. I'm not sure if they've done the performance actually at the Jolly Jackdaw camp, which is lovely, by the way. They're such a lovely group. Or at the actual League theatre. But they were telling me all about it. I was like, when there's another one, I'm definitely there, like 100%, right? Like, and it was just really fun, and they like the interaction between the different characters was really fun. Uncle Nietzsche turns up. Do this big whole kind of... It was just one of those things where, again, you have to imagine, like... Because it's all very performance-led, it's kind of like... kind of like... Riffing off each other was just hilariously good fun. Like, I was, like, thanking him for... And for saving my 14-inch lizard... And that the way he helped me wrestle that 14-inch lizard from the tree. And he's like, everyone's like, what is going on here? And I was like...
The way you handled my 14-inch lizard.
Yeah. It was so funny. And it was just like, every time we sort of spoke about it, it was like, you know, innuendo was rife. It was just really good fun. And there was a little bit of a... You know, it's a good opportunity to sort of like see if they had acquired their hands on any smart. And obviously, some people had I think seen Gellert Ashbourne in his glory. And it was interesting to see, and this was kind of like a little thing. It was interesting to see, like, there's only 40 copies out there.
I can't believe there's only 40 copies.
Yeah, because there's like, I think there's a lot of people, I've seen some people with a girl at Ashbourne in a little huddle. Like, no joke. It's hilarious, dude. It's so funny. Your ego. Fuck me.
You're welcome, Empire. You are welcome.
It was so funny. Oh man, when I had the artwork done, just as a side thing, I got like asked like, how much body hair
I know.
do you want on display?
This is what's hard about... hard is the wrong choice of words, but trying to commission smut of your best mate is very difficult.
Yeah. I just said any level of flattery that you want to indulge in, and I think it came out really well.
I've got since COVID, I've got a little pot belly, so I look pre-COVID in that.
Yeah,
in
you
that
are
shot.
toned.
Yeah,
you are toned, and
that's 20.
I did like the hairy legs though. That was nice.
Yeah,
like the shaved upper body and the hairy legs.
Confused, embarrassed look on my face. Yeah,
it was very nice.
Very
No,
nice.
so it was lovely to pop over and see the Jolly Jackdaws. There's a different meeting that we'll get to with them on Sunday as a result of things, but there was definitely
spoilers.
It was lovely to see them. The other thing that happened was I put back to camp, and this is literally on the way to putting our set list together with Orion. The Navarchers have been kicking ass, right?
Had they?
They've been doing really fucking
good.
well.
I'm glad. You're like a rich kid owner of a company, and Silver is your actual hard working.
Dude, 100% that's how it is. Like, I should be removed. But anyway, it was just lovely to share in how well they'd done at a bunch of things. One of which was that they had gone on this skirmish, which I heard reports was potentially the quickest skirmish ever. Where they were basically sent to recover somebody called Long Tom or Tall John or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But basically, Silver and someone else had like broken off from the group, run into the woods, found this guy immediately, acquired him, taken him out before the enemy line could form up at all.
So capable.
It was so funny. And it was like, his description of the story in the was longer than both the ritual used to open the gate for them to go on the conjunction and the conjunction itself. Like, it was hilarious. So anyway, it was great. It was just really fun to hear about it. Also, getting like the way he was able to organise the things, and I've got different. It's not just Silver as well, I should say. The Navarchers in general. There's actually a really nice group. Oh, look at you smiling! You love how efficient they are, despite me. I am actually.
Bear in mind when I went to the last Way House,
the murder one.
Yeah, I kept saying to him like, "Man, wouldn't it be great if like someone like."
Really, I know you do.
Really competent was in charge of the Navarchers, you know? Like, wouldn't that be good? You're very competent. So I was like planting seeds all the time, like fucking with him. But he's so fucking loyal to you.
He's loyal. He's so good.
He's super loyal.
No, it was great. And then like the Navarchers are just, they were doing really well. I think the other cool thing was they have this new rule now where basically if you're going on a skirmish, someone is legally mandated to be the person who will determine who is on the skirmish and who is not on the skirmish.
Oh, interesting.
And so for example, because we had a bunch of issues in the past where people essentially have rushed through the gate and purposefully or not, but numbers had suddenly swelled and people.
Lame.
It's lame, right? And it's just not good feels if you have like been prescribed to be on a skirmish and then some people just turn up and get in and you don't. Yeah. So there's some people who can be like, these people are on the skirmish, these people aren't on the skirmish, and it's like IC legally enforceable.
Oh, cool.
I really like it as an idea, and it means that we can achieve much better organisation. Having like, I've got obviously people in the Navarchers who help organise the skirmishes. I don't, because I'm not very good at anything I do.
Ridiculous.
And they help, but actually, again, a lot of what I do, the one thing I do, I suppose, is introduce people to people. That's pretty much all my job is, apart from obviously when we get to the big battle, which we'll get to.
Where you were very effective. Right.
Yeah.
On Friday, I bumped into my mate Derek, and Derek was going to do a play the next day. So obviously, Derek's a homie.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to go see Derek. So we went to the League. Went to the League Theatre and watched a play.
Amazing.
It was a 3-person play. Well, I suppose the person that hangs out with Derek, the one that holds those strings,
yes,
above Derek's head.
We should obviously say Derek is a lovely puppet.
What?
Yeah. The
fuck are you talking about?
No, it's so good though, right?
Oh man,
there's a wonderful photo actually of Derek, literally like next to Ifan on the table where Ifan's sitting. It's so nice.
I love this thing where Gellert is mates with Derek.
Yeah.
And I barely talk to the wonderful person operating
Yeah.
Derek. But I'm like they were all getting set up, and I walked up and I went, "Oh, hi guys, yeah, I just want to say, hey Derek, I'm really excited about it, like break a leg and stuff." And I gave him a little fist bump, and then I go and sit down again. I'm like, "Oh, Derek's going to smash this," And then they did this play, and it was so good.
Yeah.
So the way they did it was they told the story, but every time they changed characters, they swapped masks to
really
signify them changing characters.
Yeah.
And what they did was this kind of like a league-ish story, which is about this guy called Rattabor, who takes down this criminal cabal called the Vigue, and it was fucking dope.
Yeah.
Sat down, started doing the play, and I got lost. I was Goldie was there as well.
Amazing.
So Agni was sitting next to Goldie, and she was going, I don't know what's going on, and then he would be whispering to her the lore. But I'm sat there, and I'm lost in it. And also, the person that operates Derek is very good.
Yeah.
It
really is a skill with that kind of thing.
It really emotive. And I was like, at first I was like, man, look how good they're doing at operating Derek and how emotive he is and stuff. After a while, I just saw Derek and his performance and the other performers, and it was so fucking mesmerizing and interesting. I love infotainment, as you know, and it was proper infotainment. Just bravo to the actors involved, really good. I think the League Theatre is a quite a large tent with benches, lots of kids, really wholesome environment, just cool. Afterwards, we Goldie was like, "Hey, have you been to Uncle Regretto's or whatever?" And
oh my gosh, you went there, did you?
And I was like, "What's that?" And he goes, "Oh, come with me."
Senator, you didn't go to Uncle Regretto's, did you?
It's a table.
Yeah. Oh no, I know.
With shots dotted around this table.
Yeah.
Some of them are clearly very bad.
Very bad, dude.
Some of them are very bad, and then other ones are just clear liquid in a thing, and you have to pay them money and then choose your fate by grabbing a shot glass and gunning it back.
Oh, that's the light version, dude.
What's the hard version?
The hard version is you pay your money and you're given.
What?
Oh, dude, you played the soft version, dude. You played,
dude, I am too old.
No, I'm too old. I
drink
can tell you from experience.
Nasty fucking shots, man. Now, you know when people are like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna fucking put this in it and put this in it." Then I'm like, "Fuck that!"
Dude,
I am not 20 years old anymore.
Dude, some of it, the non-alcohol, the stuff that isn't alcohol that some people get. That I mean, there's toothpastey ones. There's I'm not fucking around.
I saw the toothpastey one. I saw there was just stuff in it made my stomach go just looking at them.
Oh no, it's they have a
but
an area
what was
outside.
Crazy about it was there was a giant fucking queue.
I know.
People are.
Oh my god. Have you seen the chaos sandwiches or whatever they're called in Navarre?
What?
Oh my gosh, there's this wonderful place where you can go and you get like I think it's called Chaos Sandwiches or whatever. There's basically like you literally roll a bunch of dice for the fillings for your sandwich, and there's just like a whole raft of things.
No,
it's like
I'm not about that life.
Oh, it's so funny though.
Like young me would be like,
oh yeah. I mean, it's definitely
yeah.
like I turned up at these places and I'm like, oh no.
Okay, so this is very much a. Let's keep this in the podcast, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not have missed the evening Senate session because we got the time wrong.
Oh my gosh. This is your first...
That is second,
but your first season as senator.
Yes. And we thought it was on the same time as the Friday. It's not. It's a different time. It's an hour earlier.
Right.
So we're enjoying a play, doing shots, and then like, better get to Senate.
I love
get
it, dude.
to Senate.
I love the imagery.
It's empty. Then they're like, oh no, Senate got moved to military council because of the rain. We go to military council. Again, fucking deserted. I missed the fucking Senate session. I was like, oh my God. I was so fucking embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. I'm rubbish. Like,
oh man, that does suck though, dude.
Yeah, sucked.
It's one of those things. It's so easily done.
I said to like Trafford, like I was like, I missed it, and blah, blah. He was like, don't worry, nobody noticed. I don't know if that's worse. I don't know if that's worse. You know, like if I,
Oh man, but, get the newspapers on it. Get the newspapers on it.
No, that's a very. If you don't know before you listen to this podcast,
you have to find out through legitimate channels.
Yeah, and nobody fucking realised I wasn't there anyway.
I know.
Like, fuck, who cares about like? Fucking...
Another thing that had happened was everything with the Reaper, right? Because it was the fucking Reaper festival. So I mean, rewinding back, I'm sitting there with Demelza and Orion back with all the maps, talking about good times. Person comes round. Obviously, we're in the league. Like, you're gonna need your Reaper mask, right? Fucking son of a bitch! Just instantly pulled out a gold and green, lovely mask immediately. It was like,
who's this?
This guy selling fucking masks.
Oh, so you got fucking. Oh.
And it was just immediately. He's like, he played my
Shut
fucking
up and
weakness
take
card.
my money. It's a gold and green mask.
And I swear, like he said a price, and I only had a throne.
Oh.
And I think the price changed, but I don't mind. I don't mind the hustle. I respect the hustle. I bought one for me and Demelza, and it was just lovely.
Top tip: green and gold. Just put green and gold on it. It could be anything at all. You'll fucking buy it.
Oh, it's a really nice mask though. But yeah, that was like a nice accoutrement. But the Reaper was kind of obviously hovering around, and I was obviously when I went.
Do you know what's funny? I was in the theatre tent when the Reaper was around, so we were actually not that far apart from each other.
Amazing. Were you masked up?
I had my cloak.
Did you strap it around your head?
I did.
Amazing. I love it. I've literally done that before, by the way. I've literally had to horridly throw.
This is Glass's world's problem. Okay?
Oh, it's hard. No.
Travid made me a wonderful mask, but I have to have it on a stick.
Yeah.
And it's like.
So apparently you can wear it on like your forehead.
I know.
It looks a bit lame.
Yeah, I'm not really into that.
I'm going to maybe try and make something. I did buy this mask because it was fucking great. I mean, the hustle, the fucking sales hustle was enough. Sometimes...
Hey, I agree, Ian.
Like...
If the hustle's right, I'll pay.
Yeah. No, I can tell you 100%. Like, and we definitely sold some maps just from hustle.
Yeah, like those kids that sold me carrots. Yeah. By the way, carrots are a great snack, at LARPs. But I had no intention of buying carrots. Yeah. But just the hustle... of trying to sell me a couple of carrots is like, you know, I can't deny that hustle.
Game recognises game, man.
Yeah, game recognises game. You know what I'm saying? One thing that happened was, so you know, High Guard.
Yeah,
they do their depressing walk around for the dead thing. Yeah. Well, my Watcher hints is part of High Guard.
Right. Oh, spoilers.
So I was walking along. I saw the procession.
Yeah.
And I stopped and I checked every single face on the way through as they're walking through, and then I saw him.
Yeah.
And me and him just stared at each other.
Amazing.
The whole time as they walked past, just staring at each other. It was such a cool fucking moment in the rain.
I love him, by the way. He's such a good character.
Amazing. I actually went to his camp that evening and was like, hey, like, because, like, there was kind of like, we kind of knew but didn't know Icy.
Yeah.
I was like, man, like, or was this Friday? I was like, weird, these assassins must be rubbish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're only, like, they must be useless at what they do. Like, and I'm just, like, really talking a lot of shit in their camp just to you know,
Tee it up a bit.
waggle it around a bit in their faces, you know?
How I like to play it is that, like, Talis trusts this person implicitly.
So does Gellert.
But, like, to the level where he's just so easy to talk to. Yeah. And I'll tell him anything, including Gellert's itinerary that he's aware of.
And Keys also told him where I was and where I would be at what time.
It's so good,
it's like fucking leaky ship, man.
I know, it's so funny.
We did actually find out information that it was him behind it, so I do now know IC. So
there's some interesting. Again, we can't talk around a lot of that stuff like this, but there's a private investigator. That's very interesting. I can't say any more.
What?
Yeah, and there's and that character, by the way, is so cool. Like when you bump into the spy game, I don't think you know, but when you bump into I don't know if I can even tell you.
No, don't.
But like when you bump into certain characters who are involved in the spy game and the way it interacts with other elements of plot and what you like. Bear in mind, I've been involved in certain investigations in certain ways. Like there's a bit where I decoded a code for people, and that's kind of linked me into certain things. And some Talis has very weird interactions with this whole spy game. Some of the things that happened with like this, I can't really. Again, I don't know what I can say, but there's this place I went to where everybody wore masks, and they knew exactly who I was.
Was it like an Eyes Wide Shut situation?
It was very strange. There's some weird circles you run in occasionally, and
also, like, I'm glad we don't fuck around with cults, because there's like a gazillion fucking cults out there,
dude. Like
endless cults on cults on cults out there.
Sometimes you get very interesting letters. That's all I'll say. And Jesus Christ, there's some people who are really, really fucking come out of the woodwork.
I know kind of what you're talking about. Yeah.
No, but like. So with the Reaper, another thing on that, there's some interesting things involving the Reaper that I can't say any more about, but like there's interesting game there, and I think it's very, very interesting.
Spicy.
Yeah, I think if people are it's there.
So I had heard from Riz that he wanted to get me into a very exclusive club party called Gin Club.
Yes. I've heard about Gin Club.
I won't say where Gin Club is because I think that's too much.
Yes.
But you have to be given a ticket.
Yes.
It's an invite only.
Yes.
And I didn't have a ticket.
Yes.
So Riz didn't give me a ticket. He said he would, but he didn't. A scoundrel.
Mm.
So I spoke to Leafy and I went Gin Club and he gave me his ticket.
Interesting. That's how you got in. I heard that you didn't have a ticket for Gin Club.
I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't have one for Agni.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah, because I was looking, but okay, that's cool.
So I rock up there. They literally have bouncers.
Yeah.
I present my ticket.
Yeah.
It's like 4 fucking crowns to get in.
Oh, well, we'll get to it. Yeah.
Or was it free? It was a lot. Whatever it was, more than I had.
Yeah.
So then I explain, oh, this is my scribe who needs to come in with me, and I convinced them to let both of us in. Agni had to pay for us.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So,
but you got into Gin Club.
Yeah, we got into Gin Club.
That's great. That's really good.
You get free gins when you go in.
Yeah.
And the gins are fucking. Have you been?
Look.
Fuck off! Fuck! That was my thing. Have you seriously been to fucking Gin Club?
Well, I'm not entirely sure.
You fucking ass.
I got told I'd been to Gin Club. I was very drunk.
Fucking hell. How long we've been playing this fucking game? I work my ass off and become a centre, and I have to borrow a fucking ticket for someone else, and your drunk ass just wanders on in there.
I don't know. I've only been told that I was at Gin Club, but I can't really remember because that particular event I was very drunk.
Fuck off.
Anyway.
Fucking...
Look, we play different games.
I'm playing Empire wrong, dude. I'm playing it so wrong.
So, when... Did you have a good time?
Well, went in, had a gin, then had a bit of a natter with some folks, which was good. And then I was like, it's smut o'clock.
Yeah.
So I need to get to the smut reading.
Amazing.
So I left Gin Club.
I like your priorities.
Dude, I'm not missing... Well, it was like, this is fine, but it's no Daddy D reading fucking smut for the class.
So, before we get to this, it's probably worth like rewinding to the place where people went who didn't go to Gin Club, which was the VIP party at the start. I'm fucking with you, Gin Club. Like, I'm not shitting on it at all, actually. Like, but the place I went to, dude, like, I don't know how many thrones people must have. Like, I think there's a minimum level of thronage involved in everybody, and it's the same at Gin Club, by the way. Like,
I think Gin Club's more
power
influential
players,
people,
Yeah.
whereas I think Star Bar VIP is all about those dollar bills.
Dude, some of the people I think who were where I was were like, I'm sure the poorest person had many, many thrones. It was really fun. Like, we turned up, we like so they're doing like literally like, I think it was like a 7-course kind of thing where they're coming in with different foods, handing them all out to people. There's a really cool group of people. Some of people I recognise, kind of there, but like, I don't think anyone knows who the fuck I am. Like.
Oh, I'm sure they know who you are.
No, I don't think anyone. Like, it's like, this is like much more elite levels of play. But then like, we just sit off and we just do our little performance. It was just really nice vibes. Just me occasionally forgetting to turn the page of fucking Orion, which is my only job.
I don't even care if this is abusing the podcast. I want to go to exclusive fucking parties, okay? Me, Dave, wants to go to exclusive fucking parties. I want to be winded. I'm a fucking senator now.
Yeah.
I'm a big...
You need to sell out.
I'm a big boy.
You need to sell out. That's what you need to do.
Oh, it's so bad.
The fact is, you've got principles, and that's the first thing you have to let go.
No, I can't.
That's the problem. You play this fucking game like you play it like you've got principles and standards, like a chump.
Vigilance.
No, you like, honestly, like the game you've been playing,
and you got invited to the fucking poker game. I like poker. I fucking get invited to any fucking poker.
I had to pay for that shit, to be fair.
You got invited, though.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I lost the money like a fucking chump, though.
Yeah, I'm actually okay at poker.
I'm alright at poker, but it's difficult when you...
I don't know about that.
I won our poker league. Fuck you.
Like, hey, I got to the regional champions in New Zealand. Anyway,
but the set was really good. We kept it. It was actually quite nice to do it like really kind of fairly quiet and ambient, because it was that kind of vibe, right? But that was really nice. Like, and Ryan did little jams in the middle, like classy. Switching. It was a classy kind of vibe. We literally did our set. We kind of, for those people who were interested, we spoke about the songs before we did them. But for anyone else who wasn't interested, they could just tune us out. And it was interesting to do it in that kind of style of way, where it was very much like being the restaurant band, right? It was that kind of vibe. It was really cool, but I think I had a good time singing. I've never really done anything like that like before. The people were really friendly, by the way, like and came up and said that's a really good one, really enjoyed that and stuff. It was really nice, like, because like, and I think it was like really good for Orion to go there and do like a set, right? And but hopefully we're going to do a bunch more, so that'll be really good fun.
Great.
Yeah, so
Good for you.
no, it was really good fun. Really, really good fun.
Let's get to the smut reading.
Then after that, because this was actually a bit earlier, so I think it might have been that, then Gin Club, or that some emergence thereof.
No, I did Gin Club, then I went to the smut reading.
No, but I'm not sure where our thing was in that sort of timeline.
You were before, I think.
Yeah, so then we went to the smut reading, obviously bumped into you there. It was so nice to see you turn up. I love seeing you turn up to smut readings. It's just like...
Oh, I love going.
It's just because, like,
also, I don't know,
it always feels, from my perspective, like you're working really hard. And I genuinely, like, Talis and Ian love seeing Gellert and Dave turn up and just cut loose a little bit.
It's my happy place.
Yeah.
To go to when I don't have to do any politics. I
Yes.
don't have to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I can just go and relax. I was pretty drunk. I was fucking drunk.
Yeah.
And I think I talked too much. I interrupted.
No, you were great. You were great. You were. That's the kind. You were the right vibe for what was there.
You gotta choose when.
Yeah, no. Your interjections were just right.
Okay.
Like that's the level you want to hit.
I don't want to.
No.
Detract.
I think like you're quite good at that. Actually, you know what the limits are. Because some people,
but
maybe
literally,
don't look at much,
it opened with you going, "I've got something for the class," and then you handed my Gellert smut, and everybody had a look at it, and then I said, "I fully let anyone do smut about me about Gellert Ashbourne," and there was murmurings in the crowd, and I was just like, "Oh no."
Dude, but we had authors there, and people were taking names and notes. Like you literally, you've opened the floodgates.
Hey,
I love it, dude.
Do not look into the eye of the beast with fear. You know what I mean? You gotta.
Fear is the mind killer.
Fear is the only mind killer. Yeah.
No, it was great.
It was really fun. The smut this time, I think the people had actually seen boobs, penises, and vaginas, which was good because some of the texts that have been read out there, very strange descriptions of things.
I love the fucking all of the words, right? You know, like the member is always a classic one. And by the way, like the readings are really what you come for.
Yeah,
right?
It's the whole performance. And
it's the performance,
the critique of said literature.
I love the fact that everyone's like the worst kept secret. Look over at me. The worst kept secret in Anvil. I'm sorry, everyone. And I'm like, there was a bunch of new people who would come round, and obviously, if someone comes up to me and tries to,
are you telling everyone where Smut Club is?
No, you don't talk about Smut Club.
I did bring Agni with me.
I tell occasionally if there's some. What I like doing is if there's someone who tries to sell me smut. Obviously, someone who's in the industry, I tell them there is a place that they should look for.
In the industry,
yeah. And it's so good to come. Like it was just a lovely feeling. I turned up, and then I got like a little. I found it. Someone said to me, and I was like, it was just a lovely feeling, right? Like. To give someone a little personal quest.
We shouldn't even talk about it. This might be the last time we talk about it.
I think maybe we should stop talking about Smut Club.
Yeah.
Like.
Just know it exists.
It exists. And there are others I've heard, but this is in my heart always the original.
They're not as good. So after the smut reading, I headed back to Gin Club.
You did, yeah.
Bumped into a couple of ne'er-do-wells. I won't say who they are.
Interesting.
And so I'm sitting there, and we're chatting, and I say, I've never done bite. And then one of the someone you know as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know you.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Breaks open some crystals, pours it onto a knife.
Amazing.
And hands it over. And I blast down a
of course
line
you do.
Of bite off a blade in Gin Club.
Now, that's one thing I've not done.
You've not done bite?
I've not done bite.
This is my first time.
Your first time.
So, I was already pretty drunk, so I was already like, I'm just going to turn this rev up to 11. And I was just like, I looked over, and there were two throne candidates sitting in the corner. And I was like, now's the perfect time to go and talk to them.
What I love about this is, do you remember we did the whole Goose Whisper thing and you were like,
Never
you were
gonna do
not
drugs
into
ever
it.
again.
But isn't it funny? Like, I think when we think back to like our journeys with LARP and RP and performance and all this kind of stuff, I like looking at like things like that, and it's like the way your attitudes change and the way that situation I think is very important.
Yeah, situations and who you're doing it with and everything like that is really important. Like for me, it was the meme because it's like I'm
you're at Gin Club.
I'm at Gin Club.
You literally did it off a blade
in Gin Club. And then I went and talked to 2 throne candidates, and I kind of was like, I can't really say what I said, but I was like kind of giving them shit. I was basically being like, no, this empire needs someone on the throne.
Yeah.
Like, we need to stop fucking around and like get this done. I was like, like a coked up fucking,
goading away,
chatting away, and like just
amazing. I love it.
And then. Yeah, that's when I got, on the way back, that's when I got jumped outside the toilets.
While I think that was... Oh, no, you came back after that. I don't know. I think the timings might be slightly different. But, like, I could hear the songs and stories circle going. And one thing I really like to do on a Saturday night is turn up for the very last few songs, definitely, at Songs and Stories. Because you get the whole one where you're doing, like, you're thrusting the sword above the fire circle... And then, of course, it ends with the parting glass, which is just a really nice... I love the vibes of it, the lead into Time Out and all that kind of stuff that happens on the Saturday. So it was just really nice. When I was there, Demelza was there, Silver was there, we were all together, and it was just like a really cool kind of 15 minutes, 30 minutes of just like embracing that Navari thing. Because I hadn't done it for a little while.
I haven't done Songs and Stories
It's
in ages.
so good, dude. Like, because the problem is, like, I've really got into doing a whole bunch of other stuff and going to other things, but you got to be honest, there's nothing quite like Songs and Stories as well.
I found last time, because bear in mind I did that story last time, and it was like 10 o'clock, and there were a bunch of kids there, and it was just like, it had a different vibe.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is like, not...
At the end... Honestly, I think I hit it at the perfect point for me. For what I wanted, I got exactly what I wanted out of it.
That they only allow songs after 11, and therefore, like, I really like the stories. I like rowdy stories. I like all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and it was kind of weird. So but then again, I've been so busy. It's not like
bear in mind, you've got a lot on, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you literally are a senator now.
Oh God, stop saying that, Jesus.
Jeez,
oh
man.
Let's we've been talking for an hour and a half, Ian. Let's stop now. We still have fucking Sunday to go.
Yeah, we just hung by the fire. You actually, for the first time ever, you went to bed 5 minutes after me.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's the only time I've beaten you to bed.
Wow.
So you might not remember it,
No.
but I remember I went to... In fact, when you came into the tent afterwards, you're like, is this... And you literally stumbled into the tent. And you're like, is this the first time I've ever... And then I don't even know if you properly finished the point that you were making, and then you collapsed into your fucking thing.
Those gins at Gin Club are fucking strong.
No joke.
Like, the normal ones are strong enough, but the premium ones, they fucking rock big bells. Anyway, I'm going to roll the dice. Oh, it's off the table, it doesn't count.
It's off the table, it doesn't count. Roll again. An 8.
Oh, fuck, that's Raph again. Okay, 3.
It can't be... No, 8's not Raph, 6 was Raph.
Oh, let's go. Charles Yarnold. Charles Yarnold. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your support. You help us do this. Yeah, cool. At this stage, many beverages have been consumed, but we very much appreciate you listening to us. We're doing it. We're soldiering through. Okay. We do all these in one night. I also like a one night only performance. I like the way that people were like, "When's the episode coming out?" And it's just like, "Yeah, I'm off in Prague and stuff like this," and it's just like, this is what people have been waiting for.
Yeah, this is the standard of quality material that people have been itching for all these. I mean, the Long Dark Spin. People have been like, when is the next LARP Noobs episode coming about? Which is about an event, and this is the quality that they get at the end of it all. Thank you, James. Thank you so much, all of the Patreons and everybody who listens to us.
Hashtag cancel the LARP.
Cancel. Yes, 100%. We love you all.